Single human has done the most damage to the progression of humanity in the history of mankind. Emperor Gaozong of China. It was the 12th century. When people talk about how China used to be the most technologically advanced part of the world, this is the period they're talking about. Some historians say that they were on the brink of industrializing. Then Manchuria invaded and conquered northern China. The imperial court retreated to the south and declared Gaozong, the emperor's brother, as the new emperor. China's top general Yue Fei rallied the army and defeated the Manchurians, and he was raring to chase them out, but he got orders from Gaozong to back down because he'd rather negotiate. These negotiations end up signing away the north half of China. A few years later, the Manchus invaded again. Yue Fei beats them again and pushes all the way back to the old capital. Then he gets the order to retreat. He responds with a letter saying that he's got the Manchus on the ropes, and he can reconquer northern China in like a month. No, says the emperor, retreat immediately. Eventually, Yue Fei does retreat, but he delays long enough to evacuate the city first, making up some logistical issues as an excuse. At this point, you may be wondering why Gaozong was so reluctant to push an advantage. The answer is that his brother was still alive. The king of Manchuria liked to bring him out once in a while and make fun of him. If Yue Fei reconquered China, he might liberate the rightful emperor, and Gaozong would be out of a job. As such, Gaozong was actively trying to throw the war. He interpreted Yue Fei's delay at the end of this war as meaning that he had reached the point of at least considering going rogue, so as soon as Yue Fei got back, he was arrested and promptly executed on treason on the ground of aver. He might have done something. Presumably because the optics on the actual charge were too bad. People realize that this is bull quickly enough, and there are protests, but Gaozong manages to pin everything on one of his advisors and placate the mob by executing him. So how does this affect the long-term progression of humanity? Well, as I said, China might have been on the brink of industrializing at the time, but didn't have access to enough coal. There are coal deposits in China, but they're all in the north. Second, the Manchus never really got their internal issues sorted out, and 70 years later they were easily conquered by the Mongols, who then recruited a bunch of disaffected Chinese siege engineers. This essentially removed the one weakness of horse archer hordes: they're not good at taking fortresses, and allowed them to wreck half the world. Had China been united at the time, they probably could not have done this. So had it not been for the malice of this one man, the Mongols would probably never have become the juggernaut they eventually did, and the Industrial Revolution might have happened about 500 years ahead of schedule.